guys, today we're talking about BECCA's Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. First up, we're just going to head over to the site where I bought this from, which is Sephora.com, and go over some of the information before I get to the review. This is $44 on Sephora. It's 1 ounce of product, which is pretty typical. There are 9 different shade selections to choose from. I'd say it's a pretty good shade selection because even though they don't actually have a color that ranges light enough for me, I can make it work just because it's pretty sheer. It says that the coverage should be light but buildable and leave a soft focus glow. This is actually an interesting quote that I haven't read before. It says, the foundation features a curated array of 9 flexible shades that flatter all skin tones. So apparently I was right about that. I do really feel like your exact match isn't that important in this foundation. I wound up getting this in the shade Fair because it was kind of an obvious choice. Though I will say that this is a very yellow based foundation. If you don't have yellow tones in your skin, just as I don't, it's going to be a little more difficult to choose a shade. The actual bottle is disappointingly not a pump. I do not like foundations that don't have pumps. I tend to avoid them, but I've been noticing this trend a lot. This, you just click it to the right, this little top pops up, you press it in to fill the dropper, and then you press the dropper to release the foundation. It's pretty to look at, but it is so tedious and wastes so much time trying to get foundation into this dropper. You really don't get much into the little vial when you press it in. I don't know if there's something wrong with mine. Let me know if you've used this and you don't have this issue. But spoiler alert, I actually really like this foundation, and I guess I'll put up with the horrible packaging. I did think about doing a first impressions of this, but I decided against it because as much as I enjoy watching first impression videos, I don't find them quite as helpful as reviews that come from somebody actually using the product. I've been using this product every day for a little over a week now. I've tried it every way that I can think of. With primer, without primer, different methods of application, using powder, not using powder. So I've really vetted this foundation. I'm going to show you how I apply this and how it actually looks on the skin. This is definitely a foundation you need to use a primer with. I'm using the Hangover RX one, so I'm just going to put a bit of that on. Make sure you shake this foundation too. I've noticed that it kind of strangely separates in the bottle. You can kind of tell that it's really runny foundation. Okay, so right side, we're going to do Beauty Blender. One layer of this is nice and luminous. I think you can kind of tell. It's a light to medium coverage, that's for sure. Since I've been wearing it with more layers, we're gonna do it that way. I'm just gonna add another layer. There's the second layer, and I really do feel like at this point it becomes more of a medium coverage foundation. It still looks like skin, and it's very luminous in a not obnoxious way. This is the no makeup side. I can tell that it's not looking like a huge difference between no makeup and makeup. I really think where this foundation shines is in person. I honestly don't think that it's the best foundation to have on camera. Keep that in mind as we do this. We're gonna move on to the left side of my face. I'm gonna use my Tarte Airbrush foundation brush. While I would recommend a beauty blender, personally, the brush works fine as well. You can be the judge. Now I'm just gonna get a little closer so you can see the finish. Oh, let's really zoom in here. Ooh. Welcome to all the secrets of my skin. This is the brush side, and this is the beauty blender side. I know that was way too close and that's kind of weird and awkward, but I honestly can't stand it when people do foundation reviews and don't like get up in there, because I want to know how it actually looks on skin. So there you go. I sacrificed my dignity for you. No, I'm just kidding. It's just never the most flattering thing to zoom in with an HD camera. But anyway, there you go. I did it for you. I'm just gonna put the rest of my makeup on and we'll catch back up in a bit. So as I said in the video, I have tried this without primer. I really ultimately decided that it's a total waste of product almost not to use a primer. I often like to wear my foundation for long periods of time. I don't think it needs to be perfect by the end of the day, but I'd still like a little coverage, and I'd still like some remnants of the blush and bronzer that I've taken time to put on. In this clip, this is the end of the day. I didn't use a primer, and you can see that there's pretty much zero foundation left on me. You know, it's a little frustrating. That's just how the foundation fares without a primer. On this day, I used my Too Faced Hangover RX primer. It works very well with this foundation. This was really the first time that I'd ever been truly impressed with using a primer, since I actually took the time to compare the foundation with and without a primer. I also do want to mention that both days I did set it with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. Now let's just take a moment to talk about powder. I am not typically the most avid powder user. I have pretty dry skin. This has been the only foundation that I've consistently had the desire to powder it every single day. It is very luminous in a good way. It just gives a subtle candlelit glow. Oh, I really do think everyone's going to want to powder this. I have tested out a few powders with this, and my favorite one so far has been my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish because it sets the makeup without killing off that beautiful luminosity. I really do think it's important to consider your skin type if you're thinking about buying this. If you are very oily, I would just stay clear of this. I think there are things that are a lot better for you. This is really, in my opinion, intended for people with skin that's on the drier side. Even I start noticing that I look pretty oily at the end of the day. I can't really say that I've ever had a time where I felt oily in my life before. So in conclusion, this foundation really grew on me. As I kept working with it and figured out different ways to apply it and keep it looking nice and fresh throughout the day, this has become my everyday foundation. If you guys have tried this, I would love to know what you think. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them if I can. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would really love to have you on here. I make videos every week and it's a generally joyous time. And if you like this review, just give it a thumbs up because I'll do more foundation reviews for you. Also, if you have any requests for a specific product or a DIY that you'd like to see, I'm very much so welcoming requests right now. So let me know. I hope you're having a really nice week and I will see you next time. Bye.